34 degrees. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a high of 48. Monday night, frost starting late in the night, partly cloudy with a low of 28. I'm Patrick McMillan on News Radio WGNS. Right now, it's 44.
News Radio WGNS, Murfreesboro. The views and opinions on this show are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of WGNS, its management, other hosts, or advertisers.
I got one more time. A Sunday evening here at the good old WGNS, and Ed Raymer with you with the Edwin Lee Raymer Show. We're with you for the balance of the hour. Go to YouTube, watch us live. We've got things are really going good there, and I'm having some questions asked about it, and it's still relatively new around here. There are some options you've got, and we're getting there, I think. And when I have questions about that, I turn it over to the guys on the boards. I don't do that. They do, and they do it so much better than I do. But it is very easy to go to. Go to YouTube, you can watch us. I got two great guests with us tonight. And we're talking about reorganization for the Democrat Party. Mariah Phillips is with us, along with Laura Bowling. Get their mics on. We're ready to go. Ladies, how are you doing? Mariah, how are you?
I'm good. Good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Working?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Testing. Yeah. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me, Laura?
Yeah. I don't know. My
Sorry, Laura, we messed your hair up, but you got to wear those headphones.
I know.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I can't complain.
Good.
Can't complain.
Well, yes, you can. I know you can.
Well,
I know you can.
Not to either one of you two, okay? I don't ever because y'all fight back, so I don't. I'll complain.
It is true.
But we do have reorganization coming up next Saturday, and things at Patterson Park will get underway at 9 a.m. As I understand, there's going to be food there.
There will.
Jack's, it's free food if you're interested, if the station's not feeding you. And I do happen to know a little bit about I've been here a while now, and then the voting for these seats will start at 10. Now, we're going to talk about that in just a minute, how this whole structure works. Now, folks, I know this sounds cheesy and corny, but that's what I've gone back to. Let's go back to a little bit of the old-fashioned way. And hello there if you're watching us on YouTube. If you're a Democrat or if you're a liberal, whatever, if you know someone's a liberal, you can reach us at 101.9, 100.5 if you're in Smyrna. That signal's a little stronger there. Or the good old reliable signals, 1450 AM, WGNS, right here in town. Been here now for more than 75 years. Get on the radio and listen to us and listen to what these ladies have to say, because let me tell you something. I've always said it. You want to make a difference? They've made a difference. Put your name on a ballot. They've done it. The lady to my left here has done it 3 times. Laura, how many times you run?
3 times.
3 times?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait,
I didn't know.
No,
Is
it's 4.
4?
4 times. 4
because
times.
you held an office once.
I did.
No.
I did. Yeah. 4
and
times.
they keep,
Cool.
and I admire them so much, and they're probably sick of hearing it, but I'm going to keep saying it. I admire them so much because they keep stepping up to the plate. And
Thank you.
I'm telling you, we had a real disappointment back in August with this lady here.
Thanks for bringing that up again.
No,
I appreciate that.
I'm trying to do it as
you lose by 33 votes, and people never let you live it down.
No, I'm not trying to. I'm trying to tell people how important it is to get up off your butt and go vote.
It is really important. I think that
because I know we had 50 Democrats that got up. I wish I'd have gone now. I'd have voted for her. No kidding.
Oh yeah,
50
would have done it actually. 34
call us. I'll come and get you. Okay, tell me. Just come and just give me a call. And I got a good friend in Kentucky. We're running a poll at George Santos. He's not his real name. And we're going to give odds on that. We'll tell you about that later. And for right now, Jax, if we can, if you don't mind, sir, if you'll put us on the air. But for right now, my name is Edwin Lee Raymer, and yes, I'm still a private investigator. Welcome aboard.
This is the Edwin Lee Raymer Show with your host, Ed Raymer, on your good neighbor station, News Radio, WGNS Murfreesboro.
and that's a little stiff upper lip for you from AC/DC. And this is the Edwin Lee Raymer Show. I'm your host, Ed Raymer, and I'll be with you for the balance of the hour. This show's produced in the studios of WGNS AM, 1450, 100.5, 101.9 FM, right here in the heart of the great volunteer state, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Now, you can reach these wonderful ladies with your questions, comments, or your ideas, whatever, at 615-893-1450. That's 615-893-1450. You can also send us a text to that same number, and our producer, Jackson, will be glad to read it over the air, or he'll write it down and give it to me if you do not wish to be heard on the air live for our friends that are in the Witness Protection Program. Now, you can also listen to us via the internet at WGNSradio.com. And we're no longer on Facebook. Jackson, we're no longer on Facebook Live. We are on YouTube, okay? And it is a beautiful setup. Go in and just punch in the Edwin Lee Raymer Show on YouTube. There you have it. You've got it. And hello to all of you that are listening, all my family in southern Kentucky and western Kentucky. Thank you. Glad to have you, even though you're not involved in our local politics, but I know most of you have, you lean toward our way of thinking. Thank you. We appreciate it. And you can also download the WGNS app and take WGNS with you wherever you go. Listen whenever you wish. You can always listen to Angela Bingham. She had a great guest on tonight, a young lady, 14 years of age. Today is her birthday. Happy birthday, young lady. I didn't get her name. And but she's just doing a great job with that broadcast. And she's on every Sunday from 6 till 7 p.m. And Angela, she's just a fine person, fine lady. Okay. We're going to have a reorganization coming up next Saturday. This has been going on for a while. I'm going to let you ladies take it, as I always do, Laura or Mariah, either one. How does this work? Why is it being done? Tell us in what offices will be filled and how the structure, I don't want to call it a hierarchy, but the structure works on this.
Sure. There's 30 seats on our RCDP, Rutherford County Democratic Party Executive Committee. So there's leadership roles, executive chairman, 3 vice chair, treasurer, secretary, and then there are the district seats. Is it 4? 5.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's 4 seats in 5 districts.
That's it, 4 seats in 5 districts. So it's based on state house districts.
All right. And
this is open to any registered Democrat here in Rutherford County.
Now, to prove you are a registered Democrat, how will they determine this?
So
they check our voting records, right?
I'm actually on the credentialing committee, so we'll be there at 8 o'clock in the morning. Doors will be opening at 8 o'clock in the morning. Bring a photo ID or your voter registration card, and we will have a table of able volunteers checking in to make sure that you're actually registered to vote, and that you are voting Democrat on a regular basis.
Sure.
So,
right.
Yeah.
And you have a total of about 30 jobs, let's say.
Yeah, and when we say jobs, let's say they are work, but it is all
work,
volunteer.
It's volunteer.
This is an all volunteer organization.
No one is paid.
No one is paid.
Yeah.
We do this out of the goodness of our hearts or our slight mental illness. One of those, the combination
for change.
Yeah, passion
it's so
for
good
change.
to see Mariah laugh for change. It really is.
Yeah, passion for change. Okay.
Yeah, election night, I told her, I said, will you please put the revolver away? You're starting to make me nervous. Her husband was even said, she's got that revolver out again, Ed. Watch out. That's okay. I don't blame her. I mean, it ain't that bad.
So at any rate, getting back on the topic here. So yes, Patterson Park, 8 a.m., be there or be square. If you are interested in making significant change here in Rutherford County, we need to build on the work that we did last year.
Right.
Having the most candidates ever running for county commission, and we have rolling into this 2024 election season, a really important opportunity to actually affect change and elect some Democrats again in this county. It used to be Democrats elected here.
That's exactly right.
Right. And we have the opportunity to do that because it's a presidential year. So that's why this reorg is important, because we have an opportunity shape that leadership. You, as a voter here, a Democratic voter here in Rutherford County, have the opportunity to shape the leadership that is going to take us into 2024 and take us into elections.
And, ladies, folks, I know you're listening, and we've got Democrats out there because I talk to you from time to time. Some of you have voted Republican. I talk to you, I say from time to time, I talk to them all the time. And I'm not talking about just the same person. Me and Mariah go get a cup of coffee every day. I don't mean that. I'm talking about people you bump into. Hey, I heard your show. And now somewhere along the line this week, I'll bump into one or two people. I heard your show. I think I'm going to check that thing out. I said I used to be a strong Democrat. Well, come on back to the fold.
Come on back.
Because, man, we had some wonderful turnouts in our last election.
Yeah.
I mean, this lady here only lost by 33 votes.
Yeah.
That's a handful, folks. According to the population of this county.
Yeah.
Come on, give me a break. I'll come pick you up. I'll do it. I'll walk, whatever. I'll walk your dog.
I'll carry you on my back.
That's exactly right. That's about how it is. We have a caller on the line, Jackson. We have a caller on the line. Caller, go ahead, please. You're on the air.
Hi, Ed. Hi, Laura. Hi, Mariah.
Hello.
Hey, Kathy.
Hi,
I hesitated to call because I didn't want to correct you, but I have to.
Okay.
You'll be there at 8. The doors open at 9.
At 9. Right. I was going to clear that up when I had a chance.
Okay.
Doors open at 9.
But she said it twice, so I'm like, I got to fix this.
Doors open at 9, and actually doors close at 10.
Yeah.
And so that's something that is really important. If you are in line getting checked in and certified at 10 o'clock, then we will, allow you to continue the check-in process. Sure. But because it is something that's highly regulated, we do need to shut the doors and not let anybody in after 10 o'clock. And so from 10 o'clock until the votes are over, people won't be allowed to leave the room.
Get everybody in that you can't get into the building that you can.
That's right. That's right.
They can leave the room if they need to use the facilities or something, but they will have to have their ID tag to get back in. They won't, and no one will be allowed in who hasn't checked in before 10. But
right.
So we will have somebody who will cut that line off just like on election day.
Yep.
If you're in line at 7 o'clock, in this case, if you're in line at 10 o'clock, you can, go through that credentialing process. Sorry, I made your life miserable,
okay,
Kathleen.
We're all excited. We can't wait for Saturday. It's going to be a big day. And
I will say, if you want to volunteer, show up at 8 o'clock because Laura and Kathy and Mariah will all be there at 8 o'clock.
We can put you to work. Absolutely.
If you want to volunteer, then reach out to info@rcdp.org and we'll put you to work. But we'd really rather they not show up at 8 o'clock saying, I'm here to help, unless they know what they're going to be doing.
Speaking of volunteering, actually, that's exactly why we have this reorganization committee in the first place. And so reorganization allows us to elect the new officers. Kathy, who's on the line with us, is currently our chairperson for the party. And so she has done an incredible job over the last several years.
Probably counting the time.
She's counting how many days left, Kathy? 6 days, right? 6 days until you're done.
Minutes,
counting
right.
524,000. Yeah, so she's counting down the moments. But
like that.
But
she's like my wife. My wife retires. My wife
I'm not going to
retires.
take over the show. I'm going to hang up and let you guys.
Fine.
Okay, thanks, Kathy.
Thank you, Kathy. Kathy Watt's calling, and she's like, my wife retires Thursday. Thursday is her last day.
Congratulations.
Well, good
and
for
she's had it on
her.
her phone. Of course, you have the countdown thing that y'all have. I guess I've got it. I don't know. They tell me I do. I don't know what it is. But
the alarm will ring when retirement happens, right?
Okay. We're really looking forward to it, and she is as well. After 33 years.
Oh yeah.
It's time that she can work in our garden and play in our pool and play with our daughter's puppy,
And she could also get involved in local politics.
And I'm going to leave that to you to give her a call to do that.
All right, give me your number.
Okay. You've probably already got it. Friday morning about 6 a.m. Yeah, Laura Bowling will be calling, huh? No, I won't give her your number. I promise. I won't. Okay?
No, that would no.
To get back to the purpose of the reorganization, which is something that obviously we're here to talk about, is because we are an all-volunteer group, it's important that we get new people in all of the time with fresh ideas. And we'll have officers running for the seats that Laura had mentioned earlier, the chairman, 3 vice chairs, secretary and treasurer. Some of those people have already declared. So it's been pretty exciting because we actually have 3 people running for chairperson right now. And we can still have someone, if someone is interested in leadership, they can actually show up and declare or be nominated to run even at the event.
And
on Saturday.
know, it is important because we've gone so many years, we didn't have anybody even want to have anything to do with it. And people that had been in the party, and this, look, I got to take a break, and I understand that.
Absolutely,
I understand, but folks, after you're seeing what's on the other side, I think you'll have to admit, the 3 of us have admitted that, break time is over.
Yeah,
and that has been evident over the last 2 or 3 years, because I'm telling you, folks, these ladies are not just here because we ask them to come up here or they want to come up here.
I could be watching the Oscars.
No,
I'm just saying.
I know, but they could be watching
this
us.
Is way more important than
the Oscars. You don't know anybody's going to win an Oscar anyway. So I'm telling you, these ladies show up. Everywhere that there's a function, there's something going on, they show up. This is not just a bunch of lip service you're getting. Yeah. They show up. They run for office. They compete, and they're helping us lead this thing and bring it out of the doldrums into a new day. And it's here. And it's been here now for the last 2 or 3 years, I'm proud to say. Yeah. When I first started this show now coming up on 10 years ago, I said, the first thing is I'm not going to do any politics. Well, I watched it after 2 or 3 years, and finally I said, and I really, bit my nails over it. And I said, I just can't sit back and be quiet anymore.
Yeah.
And I had a good friend tell me, he said, let me tell you something. You've got a good platform. Said, you're not nationally known, nothing like that, but for your area, you can help.
Yeah.
And said, we need it. And so we do our little part here, and, we're going to continue to. And I'll tell you something else we're going to continue to do. We want to thank our sponsors. And I want to tell you, without you, we could not do it. And we're always appreciative of every sponsor we have, all of you. And I want to tell you about someone that's got some wonderful situations here. Jax, as we get ready to go to our first series of breaks, if you're tired of wasting money on rent and you want to be a homeowner, I want you to call Celia Snodgrass. She'll help you do that. Celia is a licensed real estate agent at Benchmark Realty. Now, she's been helping families here in Rutherford County for 15 years. Now, she's got an investor that is now selling some of the properties they've had to qualified first-time homeowners. Now, these are beautiful homes, $250,000, $300,000, $350,000 homes with low down payments and reasonable seller financing. You want to buy a home? Find out more. Call Celia at 615-948-6367. That's 615-948-6367. This is Ed Raymer. We'll be back with you right after this. Hello, everyone. It's Ed with Private Investigations in Middle Tennessee. If you just need someone checked out on a background check, tag them a run, or if you need someone full-fledged to follow, give us a call. You can reach me at 615-390-7219. That's 615-390-7219, or check out our website at piofmt.com. That's piofmt.com.
I felt so alone, scared, angry, full of self-pity. I just wanted to die, so I took another drink. Then I heard about AA and went to my first meeting. The people there talked about those same feelings. I was no longer alone. They gave me help to stop drinking and hope to start living. Alcoholics Anonymous, it works. Look us up. Check your phone book, newspaper, or AA.org.
Hey, this is Ed, everybody. Want to tell you about a sponsor of ours. We've got Complete Yard Care. Their slogan is, we do it all. Low maintenance landscape design, retaining walls, tree removal, stump grinding, lawns cut, mulching, landscaping. Now you can reach them at 615-785-0384. Or you can look them up on the web at CompleteYardCareTN.com. They have a 5-star ranking on Google. That's Complete Yard Care. We do it all. Are you tired of wasting money on rent and ready to be a homeowner? Celia Snodgrass can help you do just that. She's a licensed real estate agent at Benchmark Realty who's been helping Rutherford County families find their dream homes for the past 15 years. She's also enabled many individual real estate investors to achieve financial success in Tennessee's booming real estate market. Currently, one of those investors is now selling some of those properties to qualified first-time homeowners with low down payments and reasonable seller financing. So if you're wanting to buy a home, find out more by calling Celia at 615-948-6367.
Saturday, March the 18th, come and be part of an exciting and meaningful event. The Democrats in your community are holding the Forward Together Reorganization Convention at Patterson Park Community Center. Doors open at 9 with refreshments, and convention begins at 10 and ends at noon. Are you a future leader? Do you want to be involved in your local Democratic Party? Then join us for the elections of our new Democratic leadership team. All Democrats are welcome. Don't forget to bring your photo ID and visit rcdp.org for details. See you there.
Go to J. Mullins Jewelers and check out their collection of reactor watches. They're located at 352 West Northfield Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And also custom-made jewelry. If you want it, they can make it for you. Also gifts for any and all occasions. Weddings, graduations, family reunions, anniversaries, all of it. That's J. Mullins Jewelers, 352 West Northfield Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Calling all Democrats, on Saturday, March 18th, Rutherford County Democrats will be hosting our Forward Together convention at Patterson Park Community Center. All Democrats are encouraged to attend and help elect our county's new leadership team. Attending convention is the best way to get involved in Democratic efforts to organize, grow, and win. The convention doors open at 9 a.m. and starts at 10. Remember to bring a photo ID and visit rcdp.org for more information.
All right, and we are back. Thank you very much. Okay, and to John Williamson, John, if you're listening, I know you've been watching on Facebook Live. You can get us now on YouTube. Okay, I hope you can get to YouTube. Hopefully, if you got a phone, you can get to YouTube. Download their app, and appreciate it. Stu Miller, thank you. Carol Elmore in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Thank you, Carol. We appreciate you so much. She always answers my messages and things, and we appreciate the Chattanooga area listening in. Thanks so much. Okay. Now, Mariah Phillips is here. Laura Bowling is here with the Rutherford County Democrat Party. How many do you have a record of, or is there a record, I'm sure there is somewhere, of how many registered Democrats we have in this county? Or is that hard to keep?
It's hard to keep track, and I will tell you there's a couple of reasons. One is because people are growing and coming into this county faster than we can count them, right?
Right.
And so we know that Murfreesboro, Rutherford County is, I think, the 5th fastest growing community in the country. And so I think the number changes every time I read it, but it's somewhere in the top 10 fastest growing communities.
Right.
So it's impossible for us to really keep track of how many of those are Democrats, how many Republicans. But we do know that more and more people are moving to the county that, believe like we believe that are Democrats, that are progressive liberals. And one of the things that we know, and we've seen it, is the increase in Democratic voter turnout.
Exactly.
And so we don't, in the state of Tennessee, as you guys both know, but maybe some of the listeners don't, we don't register as a Democrat or a Republican
Right.
in Tennessee. Some states do have partisan registration. We just have to walk up into the election, into the polling location and tell them which ballot we want to pull. And so that does make it hard for us to track who's a Democrat and who's a Republican across the board. But we know from voter turnout that about 40% of those who turn out election over election are Democrats. And so that's been the number year over year.
I would say the biggest obstacle to that is the growth we're having.
Yeah.
I mean, we're having some fantastic, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And people are still coming. I know the pandemic sort of put a
Well, you
hiccup
can't tell
in
it
there,
on,
but not
you
really.
can't tell it on the south side of the county. That's
Right.
for dang sure. There are so many neighborhoods going in.
Yeah.
We moved out to that southwest corner of the county, thinking, we'll be out far enough. There won't. No, they're
part are
all
you in?
coming.
What are you in?
The Midland area of Midland.
You
There's
go out.
so much
I always
building
say,
and
I
growth
use-
out there.
In our area, we're out in South Church. The wife and I are.
Yeah.
You go out Veterans Parkway.
Yeah.
Travel out,
Yeah,
take your
that's-
video
that's
camera or
insane.
take a picture, and then go back in a couple of months. Where did that come from?
Well, just
what is
Veterans
this?
Parkway.
Just Veterans
And not
Parkway.
only that,
yeah.
there are businesses that are locating out there now.
Absolutely.
The fire department has their place, which they were first to one of the first to get there, and that continued. It's just growing around it.
Yeah.
And apartments. Well, I mean, we've got to have a place to put people. And I've said many times last summer. I mean, I saw or last fall, or early last fall, whatever. I saw a bus driver. He stopped to open his doors. I've never seen so many kids get off a bus in my life.
Yeah.
And I said, this is one bus, one apartment
stop.
complex. I said, and right now at this time, it's about 3:30 in the afternoon. I said, this is going on all over the county.
Right.
Yep.
I never seen so many kids in my life.
Right.
Yep.
And it's not going to quit.
Yeah.
It's not going to stop.
Yeah, and so the challenge that we have as the Democratic Party, and which is why we need more volunteers to come and support, is really just registering those voters and identifying if they, share our values. And we know just from talking to people that a lot of Democrats don't feel like this state is electing people that represent our values. So it kind of feels like in many ways that it's kind of this impossible hurdle to overcome.
Right.
But and so our challenge is really to talk to those Democrats or those people who lean our direction and say it's not this may be an uphill battle.
Agreed.
But it is not a mountain that cannot be overcome.
No, it is not.
And so we need to continue to do the work and get people who are passionate about being evangelicals for the message of the Democratic Party, right?
Well,
And
I
actually
mean,
spreading
and
the
if
word.
you want to, folks, if you want to know the truth, it's not only these two ladies here. We have a bunch more guys and gals.
Oh, yeah.
You want to hear the truth, and you want to hear the unabashed truth, you might want to talk to them. And I'm going to tell you, you better put on your big girl or big boy panties, because you'll hear it.
Well, and there's a lot to hear because
there's a lot to hear because there's a difference. My mother used to say this, and I finally found out what was talking. There's a difference between priorities and values.
Yes.
There's a big difference.
Yes.
And we got one party that's got nothing but a bunch of priorities. And one is to don't tax the rich, to tax everybody else, and cut the taxes on the rich. It's just that's just, and it's that way on a state level. Yeah. Now here locally, it's been a little bit better, but we practically we took a couple of seats away from the Republicans in our last election, and I don't know about you, that's all right. I'll take them two at a time because slow growth is better than immediate growth and this up and down thing. Because it takes time. The pendulum, I've always said this, the pendulum is always swinging.
Yeah.
Sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. But that's all right. Hope Oliver sat right over there where Laura was when she first sat there. And I said, you can, we were sitting here before we went on. I said, I'm going to tell you, you can do this. And she, I don't know. I said, yes, you can.
Yeah.
And she did.
And she did.
And she's been here with me recently. And doing a fantastic job down there, and still basically what she's doing is still campaigning by going to people and saying, what do you need?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the
You know?
big key
Right.
about the volunteer political process. It's campaigning isn't a one-time thing.
Right. It goes on.
This is a conversation that needs to happen on a regular daily basis, right? We need to have enough volunteers to have those conversations every month in District 34, every month in District 13, every month in District 49, every month in District 37, and every month in District 48. We need to have those conversations.
Right.
And part of what we're doing on Saturday is electing those key leaders in each of those districts to help us who know how to campaign, right?
Right. Sure.
Help us identify what are those events that we can go to in the month of May. Now.
Right.
In the month of June, because we are here. Democrats live here.
Lots
That's exactly
of us.
right.
There's
a lot of us.
of us. And we need to make a safer space. We're never going to make a safe space, but we need to make a safer space for those Democrats who live here to say, hey, I'm a Democrat too.
That's right.
Well, let me share a story actually about
Sure.
that, Laura. So since I've been running, I've had a lot of people, Democrats and Republicans, that have talked to me about the issues that have been important to them. And over time, I've had more and more Republicans coming forward and saying, I don't really feel like I align with what the Republican Party is today. And
Really?
so
You think so?
Well,
Yeah.
and it's good to hear that. But I think,
And Mariah, we're talking about reasonable people.
we're talking about reasonable good,
people.
hardworking business owners in our community.
Right.
And so just the other day, I was talking to a hardworking business owner in the community.
Right.
She does not want to be nameless at this point because she's afraid. She's a Democrat,
Right.
and she is afraid that if she comes out and speaks out about these things that are so important to her, that she is going to lose business, and is afraid to take that risk. But I'll tell you, she asked me for coffee the other day, and so we sat down, and as soon as we sat down, she unfolded this handwritten note of the problems that she sees happening in our state legislature and in our local government, and all of the things that are on her mind and on her heart. And she was like, what are we doing about these things? And, through our conversation, I said, you may have to begin to start speaking out, because that's what people are too afraid to do, is speak out. But if you speak out, you might lose some business, but you might actually find some really ardent supporters who will actually will come to you for business because you stand out and speak up for the things that are important to you.
I've had people approach me on this broadcast and say, I appreciate what you've done.
Yeah.
And that means a lot.
Yeah.
When someone, but you're exactly right, Mariah. There's so many that, I don't know if, I don't know my job and this and that and the other.
I will say unequivocally, since I have had my name slung through the mud,
you have,
and repeated.
And you used to be you're former
I'm
Republican.
a former Republican, and I
recovered.
I recovered Republican, but I did lose a lot of friends when I switched. I mean, because we didn't have the same values.
Right. Yeah.
And I was able to, to truth be told, there was a lot of things that I didn't fit in the Republican Party anyway because of my basic beliefs. But when I came out and said, these are all the things I believe, and they trashed me, some people, not everybody, but they really trashed me good. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And guess what? Look, I'm still here. Yeah. It's scary to leave those things. It's scary to leave those things that are comfortable.
Your security blanket.
The people that you've grown up with, the people that you go to church with, the people that come in and spend money with you. I get that. All of those things happened to me. And I'm here to say that I sleep really, really well at night.
Oh, no, you do.
Because I know that I am fighting for the things that will help people have better lives. Yeah. I really am now. And the idea that somebody made a Facebook post about me, I do not care. Yeah. I just don't care about it. And so I get it when folks are talking about their livelihoods and their money.
Yeah.
I get that challenge because you don't want to lose that. But I want them to know, I'm just saying that there is something on the other side.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
Hey, I'm the only guy here that gets hate mail. I'm mighty proud of that.
Well, we appreciate it.
Well, I want to tell you, I do, because, thank you for listening. I take all my people, All right, we've got a caller on the line. Brother Jackson, put him on. Caller, you're there. Go ahead.
How you, Mr. Raymer? How you doing?
Well, hello, Jeff. How are you doing? I haven't talked to you in a few days.
I know it's been a while. I just want to say, I don't know if y'all saw last week, but, the rally they had on the square a couple weeks ago about the surgeons and everything.
Yeah.
Right,
They said that cost the taxpayers $10,000.
Yep.
Because we had to pay all the overtime for the security up there,
Right.
police and everything. And then I'm sure y'all saw the bill Governor Lee signed that cuts the Metro Council in half. Did you see that, Edwin Lee?
I have seen that, and that is a good point. It's insane.
I can't believe he signed that into law, but I just want to know what y'all saw. They said something that it was all Metro governors in the state. I'm not sure if that's the case. I think they're just kind of targeting Nashville, but there's a lot of things legislature's doing right now that I tell you what, some of it's not very much of it I like, but I just want to hang out with this. I enjoy y'all's show, and y'all kicking around some good topics tonight. Thank you.
Jeff, thank you very much. Another supporter of this broadcast, and we talk. Yes, we do. Jeff and I talk through the week lots of times. He'll call me, or I try and call him back with deals like that, folks. We've got 30 commissioners in our 21. I'm sorry, 21. Now we're approaching Nashville's size. We are. Nashville has 40. They can't handle that government with 20 people. This is insane.
It's an interesting conundrum here in the state of Tennessee, because technically speaking, in the state of Tennessee, the states control the counties. I mean, the state controls the counties.
Right.
And we have, I think, maybe 5 metropolitan governments in the state of Tennessee. So those governments have created a different system for themselves.
True.
By the vote of the people. So
that's exactly right. By the vote of the people.
It's a very interesting concept when you think about the government of our state not wanting to be interfered with by the federal government, but then the government of our state not having any issue whatsoever interfering with the county governments.
But they just don't want to be interfered with, period.
They just don't want to be interfered with.
Yes.
Small government only means don't bother me.
Exactly.
Which is also ironic when they're also passing a lot of legislation where, I'm sure there are plenty of people who would love to say, hey, just don't bother me. The legislation that they're writing is actually interfering with the rights of parents and interfering with the rights of LGBTQ couples and interfering with the rights of a lot of our citizens here.
Well, Mariah, I would say this to Nashville. What is the problem? You can't get down. I mean, the SEC tournament for the men was in town this week. I'll guarantee you, I didn't go down there, but you can't get down Broadway.
Yeah.
Everybody from all over the country is coming here.
Absolutely.
People will be here in the spring and summer. They're coming for all the country, the CMA thing.
What
is the problem?
There's been such a I don't know how better to describe it than just a middle finger from our legislators to Nashville for the fact that they turned down the Republican National Convention. I think it's just retribution and retaliation,
right?
And that's why they're doing it, and that's why they're doing things like the Representative Sherrill, who had proposed the legislation, the same guy who proposed to bring lynching back into our government.
I started a list at the House, and ladies, I'll spare you. I didn't bring it with me, and I did that intentionally.
One of the bills that he passed was turning John Lewis Boulevard into Donald Trump Boulevard. John Lewis Boulevard, which was named posthumously after a congressman who actually was an activist on Fifth Avenue, where the street was named after him. He did work.
He sat at the lunch counter
on that street.
He worked
on
there.
that street.
Yeah.
On that street.
Oh, no.
And posthumously, they named the street after him.
Bipartisanly.
And then
Right.
they just turned around. I mean, there's nothing that was so disrespectful than how our current legislation is operating.
Well, they're a disgusting bunch of people.
And what they're doing to Nashville and Davidson County is exactly retaliation for turning down the RNC.
Well, that's what I've said.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of Democrats now. So yes, it is. And look how the growth is down there.
Absolutely.
You can't cuss a cat. Now, I know they'd like to do something about it too, don't get me wrong. But we're experiencing the same thing here.
Yeah.
And you see the pendulum starting to swing. People, you'd better get off your butts and get out and get down here next Saturday and help these ladies out.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. Another thing that he had mentioned on the call, and thanks for bringing it up, was the fact that on our local government, the police department did suffer a bill of $10,000 to support security.
Right.
And it's really what's frustrating to me. And I spoke to this at the city council meeting. So if anybody on the city council is listening tonight, they've already heard this before. But I brought that up because that event is exactly happening in our community because we were one of the first across the state to ban borough pride or ban our pride celebration because of drag shows. And now, of course, we know that there's been a law passed in our state. But what happened was, what I spoke about was the fact that I have been a sponsor personally as a candidate for borough pride. And one of the things that my sponsorship paid for was security.
Sure.
And
right.
And so paying for security was something that I was happy to do, but because it wasn't on the city to provide that security for us.
Right.
And so Borough Pride doesn't cost the city any money.
Right.
In fact, they actually get money as a result of it.
Right.
Because we hire their police officers to provide that security. But this event that was on the square, which was such a hateful message.
Right.
It was not a message
Sure.
that brought love for people, even though it cost our city a lot of money.
I mean,
and
we had the same thing over the abortion issue back earlier in the year, and I talked to Kelly Northcutt. I had her on the phone that afternoon. It was after Alito had, rendered the big opinion, and they were having, I think it was Thursday afternoon on the square. And I called Kelly. I forgot all about the rally they were having. Over women's rights to for you all to make your own medical decisions, okay?
Yeah.
Your own health care, and which is something us men know all about. So all you got to do is ask us. But I mean, it's tongue in cheek, by the way. I mean, and she was on the phone and said, "Ed, can you hold on a minute?" I said, "Sure." I was going to invite her to be on the show, and I forgot. I caught her in the middle of something, and this guy who turned out, I found out he was 30 years old. It was the craziest. I put the phone on speaker because I was in the car by myself. And it was the craziest conversation I've ever heard in my life about a young man trying to have a conversation with Kelly, of all people, on abortion.
Yeah, yeah.
And she, when you go back to school, and by the way, take a course in logic while you're at it.
Yeah.
And when you get your degree, will you give me a call? I said, I'd want to do better if she'd done hung up. I said, I want to tell you something. I said, when that guy grows their uterus, will you tell him to give me a call? I'd love to put him on the air.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're on the stunt. All right, Laura, go ahead. You got something to say, I can tell.
Well, no, I just want to make sure we get back on track.
Yes.
I agree.
Let's get back on track. And what are we here to talk about today?
We are here to talk about the reorg that is happening this Saturday at Patterson Park, 9 a.m., the reorganization of the Rutherford County Democratic Party. All eligible Democrats, registered Democrats are welcome, encouraged to come and be a part of the process to elect our new leadership going into 2024.
Yeah, so. And if anybody says that we're not doing anything or we're not doing enough in this county, and I will say, I've heard that from time to time, that Democrats just aren't doing enough. I'm going to encourage you, show up on Saturday. Be there at 9 o'clock
Yeah.
and help us do the work, because because I will say the people that are working have been working very hard over the last several years and tirelessly to, and we all have full-time jobs, and we're retired, and I'm not one of those retired ones, but we have some great retired volunteers. Many of us have 2 jobs, which actually Laura and I both have had 2 jobs while running for office. So, and so we have been working very hard in this county, and we need all the support we can get because there's a lot of work to do. Right. And so if anybody is saying, well, we're not doing enough, your message isn't getting out far enough, wide enough, loud enough, then I want to encourage you to come and use your voice, not just on Saturday, but every day after that, so that you can help us get our message to more people. Because the more diverse and widespread our membership can be, the more our message can reach every single voter that needs to hear it. And there's a lot to talk about. And that's, I think, why it's so easy to get off topic, because there's so much going on in our state, and it makes it feel ever more important.
Right. I think that's such a key point, because there are so many issues that can harm people in this state that are being used by our Republican supermajority to, 1, maintain power, and 2, to just frustrate the efforts of Democrats, because there's so many different ways we can go. Bring the thing you like. If it's pets, if you want to save pets, bring that thing. We can put you to work. If you want to talk about
environmental issues,
absolutely, we can put you to work.
Stop the stink at the
absolutely. Our social media is RCDP4TN. And that's Facebook, Twitter, and Insta. So it's RCDP, the number 4TN. And that's those 3. And then our website is rcdp.org, rcdp.org. So those are the ways to get a hold of us.
Yeah.
So. Okay. Thank you, Laura and Mariah. And we're going to go to our last series of breaks. And I want to tell you right now about a young lady that's got some homes for sale. She has an investor that's ready to sell off some of their properties, and these are $250,000, $300,000 properties. And I want to tell you, this is a good opportunity for you. If you want a single-family home that you want, you call Celia Snodgrass. She's a licensed broker with Benchmark Realty. You can reach her at 948-6367. That's 615-948-6367. With these properties, qualified first-time homeowners, you can have low down payments and reasonable seller financing. Please give her a call. That's Celia Snodgrass at 615-948-6367. Here's the last of our ads. We'll be back in just a minute. Stay with us.
Saturday, March the 18th, come and be part of an exciting and meaningful event. The Democrats in your community are holding the Forward Together Reorganization Convention at Patterson Park Community Center. Doors open at 9 with refreshments, and convention begins at 10 and ends at noon. Are you a future leader? Do you want to be involved in your local Democratic Party? Then join us for the elections of our new Democratic leadership team. All Democrats are welcome. Don't forget to bring your photo ID and visit rcdp.org for details. See you there.
Hello, everyone. It's Ed with Private Investigations in Middle Tennessee. You know, if you just need someone checked out on a background check, tag them a run, or if you need someone full-fledged to follow, give us a call. You can reach me at 615-390-7219. That's 615-390-7219. Or check out our website at piofmt.com. That's piofmt.com. Are you tired of wasting money on rent and ready to be a homeowner? Celia Snodgrass can help you do just that. She's a licensed real estate agent at Benchmark Realty who's been helping Rutherford County families find their dream homes for the past 15 years. She's also enabled many individual real estate investors to achieve financial success in Tennessee's booming real estate market. Currently, one of those investors is now selling some of those properties to qualified first-time homeowners with low down payments and reasonable seller financing. So if you're wanting to buy a home, find out more by calling Celia at 615-948-6367. Go to J. Mullins Jewelers and check out their collection of reactor watches. They're located at 352 West Northfield Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And also custom-made jewelry. If you want it, they can make it for you. Also gifts for any and all occasions. Weddings, graduations, family reunions, anniversaries, all of it. That's J. Mullis Jewelers, 352 West Northfield Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Calling all Democrats, on Saturday, March 18th, Rutherford County Democrats will be hosting our Forward Together convention at Patterson Park Community Center. All Democrats are encouraged to attend and help elect our county's new leadership team. Attending convention is the best way to get involved in Democratic efforts to organize, grow, and win. The convention doors open at 9 a.m. and starts at 10. Remember to bring a photo ID and visit rcdp.org for more information.
All right, and we are back after our final break. And I want to thank Laura Bowling and Mariah Phillips.
That's me.
Thank you both for coming up here to be with us tonight. Thank you so much. And promote the Democrat Party and what they're doing and what to stand for and what to stand against.
Yeah.
You know, every once in a while. Not a bad idea. Maybe take a stand against some silly things that are out there, you know?
Oh, there's so much. There's so much.
There really is a lot going on in the world right now.
Yeah.
If you think about it. You know.
Well, and I think the thing that we're focused on is one of the things you brought up earlier, that slow growth. I mean,
Right.
it's and I think it's something that Mariah brought up too, is the idea that people think we're not doing anything. And that's by design, because our Republican legislature has gerrymandered us in such a way that they've split those large populations of Democrats
Sure have.
between multiple districts. So while we get tons of people out to vote every time, it ends up showing up as 40, 42, 44% of the vote, because they've made it that way.
Yeah.
So
downtown Murfreesboro, for example, and Laverne is split. I mean, they're split in so many different ways.
Yeah.
Where we know we have
Right.
strong Democratic
Right.
communities.
I think it's 4. Murfreesboro
Downtown Murfreesboro is split into 4 different
state house seats. The city of Murfreesboro is split between every state house seat.
Right.
So you're I mean, the advertising that is done for that is you'll get better representation because you've got somebody from every district. But that's not really what will happen, because
not at all.
The people who are in the quote unquote minority, us Democrats, don't get a voice. Because we don't get representation.
And 40% of the vote is not a small percentage.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
So 40% of the vote means that if we have 5 seats, Laura, that means that 2 of those seats should belong to Democrats.
Exactly.
And they would be if we actually had fair redistricting.
You know,
but we don't have that in our state.
Since I was a kid, I didn't understand how the gerrymandering could be. And let's face it, Democrats have done it as well.
Oh, yeah.
Go into the state, divide it up evenly as it should be, and do it. And be done with this. Yeah. And let me tell you, we would have had some different election results.
I just think that if we actually had in our county, in Rutherford County, if we had 3 Republicans and 2 Democrats, which still would give Republicans the majority, which they are, we think, we don't really know because so many people don't even vote in our county.
Yeah,
so
and they've become disgusted with the process.
That's right. And so if we had 3 Republicans and 2 Democrats, I think we could actually accomplish a whole lot because people would be working together.
We would.
And I know every single one of the people who are Republican representatives, and most of them.
Why are you looking at me?
Because not all of them. Most of them, I think, many of them can be rational people that don't vote that way because they're so beholden to their party that they just do what their party says. They're not standing on independent feet.
A perfect example of this on a national level was what Michael Moore, the filmmaker, had said. Look, and I think it's some time ago, 2, 3, 4 years ago, whatever, said, look, we're the majority party. He's talking about Democrats. Yeah. Said more of us had voted in the last 7 elections, or the last 8 elections. Democrats voted more in 7 of them than Republicans. I said, how can that be? Well, as it turns out, because of and I'm talking about presidential elections now.
Right.
I said, come to find out, because of the Electoral College.
Yeah.
Because some farmer got his feelings hurt over his, the back 40 out there. Mm-hmm. You end up putting the guy in the last time in the White House that got beat by a girl. Ooh. And I know I shouldn't. I shouldn't. Okay, I shouldn't feel that way. I tell my wife, I said, no, I shouldn't feel that way. But it just tends to put a little salt on the wound. You got beat by a girl, Donald. Okay, you got beat. Suck it up and go with it. Yeah. And then President Biden, who illegally won that election, bless his heart, because he's got so much to prove. He's been awarded every accolade. Never mind. Don't give me. Y'all know how I am. Forget it. But
so why are we here again?
We are actually here because on Saturday, this Saturday,
March 18th,
March
right?
18th, we are actually having
the day after St. Patty's Day. I'm just
Thanksgiving.
So I almost said Thanksgiving. Sorry about that.
We are reorganizing our local party, which is something we do every 2 years.
Every 2 years, wow.
And so it's not that we're doing it because it's not going well. It's because we're doing it because we do it every 2 years.
Yeah.
And so we are making sure that the leadership is really planning and thinking about this next election cycle, because we are in 2023. And in Rutherford County, in the state of Tennessee, and in our national government, the biggest elections are going to happen in 2024. But guess when the work has to be done, Laura?
Right now.
So we are actually starting to do the work to get that message out for those elections that will happen in 2024. And the best way that we can do that is by getting more volunteers to show up and get involved and use their voice and use their feet to walk door to door and use their mouth to talk to their neighbors and their friends and to get people registered to vote and get people to really understand the issues. And so that's what our reorganization convention is for. Yeah. And that's why we're here today.
Well, and it's at Patterson Park.
Right.
March 18th, 9 a.m.
And
be there, be square.
Will not cost you a penny.
Oh, no.
Oh, gosh, no.
And they're going to have food for you from about 9 o'clock till 10, till the voting starts. I'm sure it'll be coffee, donuts, or
and
whatever.
You know what? I think one of the best things about this is not just the work that we need to do over the next year and a half to prepare for the election, but actually getting around like-minded people who feel like you do, and being in a room full of people that really share your values. Yeah. Because sometimes you don't feel like you're around those people at work
and to
or
see
at
a
church
smile,
or at the grocery store.
and see a smile on someone's face instead of when one of our people, when I see you at the supermarket or wherever, there's a smile that comes over. Well, except when Laura sees me, she's not really well about me. But, I mean, other than that,
she has to look away and go in the other direction.
Hey, if we see each other, we go out. You'll see us hugging out in public, right in front of our spouses. And everything. Say, who are these two people anyway?
Man.
That don't make any difference to me. I don't care. To see a smile on face instead of a scowl.
Yeah.
What have they done to me today? Nobody's done anything to you at all.
Yeah.
You haven't been hurt in any way, shape, form, or fashion whatsoever. Okay? No one's trying to get at you or hurt you. It's not happening.
No.
I mean, we live in the greatest country in the world, man.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, it's just insane. And, now I must say, I don't know, Laura, I don't know your family that well. I know of Jim. I've never had a chance to meet him, I don't guess. But I know Mariah. I know your husband. I've met your children, I think, on a couple of occasions. I don't know. You have five
kids,
yeah. These people attempted to start their own country, but it didn't work out. But, I mean.
Well, there's still a chance. They'll have offspring at some point.
Put me down. I'll put you on the air and we'll promote it. But, they're just wonderful. Let me say this to you. These kids are the most wonderful. They're well-mannered. They're. They do well in school. I mean, I guess they're all about grown by now, aren't they?
My youngest is turning 16 next week, so yeah, they're
about
just
there.
I'm about there.
Yeah.
Yep.
It goes fast because our
Goes real
son is
fast.
36.
What?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh
our daughter.
my heck!
When I started running for office, I think Isaiah was 8,
Oh my God!
and now
Isn't that
he's
something?
16.
Isn't it something? I'm telling you, our son is 36. Our daughter is 30.
Yeah,
It goes by quick.
it does. It
I
does.
tell these young people, don't miss out, especially when they're little. Get to the,
Yeah.
go to the ball games. Get to the
yeah.
ground.
Oh, yeah.
I talked to Matt Burke,
Yeah.
and I caught him on the phone. I missed him a couple of times. I called. He said, "Ed, sorry I missed you. We've been at ball game or whatever it was."
Yeah.
I said, "Hey, go."
Right.
Because
exactly.
They'll be walking across that stage getting a diploma before you know
yeah.
it. And
Absolutely.
that, it's so short a period of time. People don't know it.
Yeah.
One last thing. Laura, one last thing.
Okay.
Mariah, let's go. We got 1 minute.
RCDP 4TN. That's on Insta, Twitter, Facebook. RCDP.org. And March 18th, 9 a.m., Patterson Park. Be there, be square. That's our reorganization meeting.
See you Saturday.
Thank you all so much, ladies. Thank you. And for the Edwin Lee Raymer Show, I'm Ed Raymer. Jackson, thank you. Did a great job on the board as usual. And until next Sunday night at 8 o'clock, I'll catch you down the road. Good night.
Portions of our programming have been pre-recorded. The Good Neighbor Network, WGNS, Murfreesboro, Smyrna. Flagship station for MTSU Sports.
Tonight, mostly cloudy skies and a low of 34 degrees. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a high of 48. Monday night, frost starting late in the night, partly cloudy with a low of 28. I'm Patrick McMillan on News Radio WGNS. Right now, it's 44.
Look around at this great city of ours. What do you see? I see a multitude of amazing people. Over the next hour, Bill Wilson will talk to some of these amazing people about topics that interest you and give you just what you need to kick off your week with a dang on the Mr. Murfreesboro Show.
Good evening, Murfreesboro. This is Mr. Murfreesboro, Bill Wilson. Thank you for tuning in to the Mr. Murfreesboro Show here on WGNS, 1450 AM and 101.9 FM Talk Radio. And you can also watch us, I guess, on the YouTube channel, the G channel, GTV, WGNS. We're going to get that handled here in the next century. Lady K's here, my co-host.
Hi.
How's it going there, Lady K? I'm excited about tonight's.
I am too.
I feel privileged. I've known this cat for probably, 20 or 30 years. Just genuinely a good guy. I've never heard anybody say anything bad about you. Ever.
Yeah. You didn't talk to my wife, have you?
Well, funny she did. No, I'm just kidding.
We've got her on the phone right now.
Y'all know tomorrow it's going to be like a Murfreesboro holiday. Well, it's going to be Reeve Sain's Day because Reeve Sain is opening back up, the grand opening. Are y'all going to do a ribbon cutting? Let me introduce Rick Sain first before we get ahead of ourselves. One of the owners of Reeve Sain. Are y'all going to change the name or is it just going to stay Reeve? Because everybody knows Reeve Sain.
We're going to keep the name.
It used to be Reeve's pal.
That's right. You go back a long way.
Yeah.
Mr. Murfreesboro.
Well, thank you. Well, and you met Lady K.
I have.
We've met before.
It's been a while. I don't feel like I've seen anybody since COVID days, but
isn't that wild? So, is it true you don't like puppy dogs?
Where is that coming from?
You got him.
I got you.
No, is that how you start your interview?
That's how I was actually copying Ed. He does. I give Ed some props there.
Well, we need to give you a shout out because he turned down Cronkite.
Yeah, 60 Minutes. Letterman. Oh, Letterman's not playing anymore. Conan O'Brien. Jimmy Kimmel. Dude, it's a big thing. Just the milkshakes. I don't know how many people's life y'all have affected. good, bad, or indifferent. I mean, medicine. I mean, you got to have it, right?
Bill, I had no idea till we closed the impact of what you're saying. It's been very humbling to hear, everybody talk about what you're saying there. With the number one thing I hear is the milkshakes. The second thing I hear is the post office, and then the gifts, and hopefully the service with the prescriptions and all.
Right. I mean, you can go one-stop shop.
Yeah, that's what we hope to be.
Right. I'll tell you something you need to get. Well, we've talked about some Mr. Murfreesboro swag, but we're going to talk about that. I'm going to talk to Susan Greer about that. But we want to hop right in here and find out what's changed. I mean, what's going on and store hours and all that stuff.
Are the milkshakes coming back?
The milkshakes are coming back.
Same ingredients.
Same everything. Yep. Same ice cream, same Hershey syrup, all the flavors. They're going to be there.
Wow.
But this time Laura Gossett with the Tasty Table, she's
a sweetheart. Yeah.
She's going to run the soda shop. She's going to knock it out of the park. She's got seating for 32 people.
Wow.
And I think she's going to do the sandwich breads we used to have, mac and cheese, egg salad, chicken salad, tuna fish, and then do all the milkshakes, but then add all her flavor and charm. And I think
because she used to have heavenly ham. Is Ryan going to have a little place to park his bike? That's her husband.
No, Tim's her husband.
Tim,
you're thinking about Cindy. Yes.
Forgive me.
We'll print her attraction
I'm
tomorrow.
I'm sorry. That's like me. That's a whole different thing. Lady Case, save me over here. What's take over?
And take you out back and baptize you.
I've been baptized so many times. I know the fish by their first name, right? But it's exciting times here in Murfreesboro. There's so much negativity. I'm glad to have good news.
Yeah.
If it's not Mount Trashmore, everybody knows talking about trash, or you're talking about what else? The amphitheater. What's your thoughts on the amphitheater? Do you think it should be there where it's at?
I do. I'm excited about the amphitheater.
Because you're a business guy. You're a chamber guy, leadership, Rutherford, all that stuff.
I love going to listen to good music.
Yeah.
I love the older music that they're going to bring back, so I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can everybody hear us? Okay. Hey, Jackson, how you doing? All right. That's Jackson, our producer, who's actually looks like John Lennon a little bit.
So I remember going into the pharmacy, and it just was like a feel-good place when you walked in. I don't know. I like, even with little kids, they were like, oh.
A happy place.
Yeah. It was just happy and friendly. And then you had your pharmacy, and y'all always used to come out, it seemed like.
Yeah.
And
Who
great
does
people.
that? Yeah. Come out, like even hand you stuff, talk you through things. I mean.
Old school.
Yeah.
Like the way Jesse Messick used to be up on the square. Rexall, Martin Drugs up on the square. Do you remember Jesse?
I do. I worked up there as a student when I was going through pharmacy school.
Did you really?
Yeah. Loved it.
What made your passion for pharmacy? I mean, were you into drugs earlier, or was that,
My senior year of high school in Shelbyville, when I was leaving high school, after football season was over with, I started working at a Revco Drugs. If you remember Revco, that was bought out by CVS.
Or Super X. Same thing. No, I'm just kidding.
Then I later worked at Super X because Revco sold out, and then went to work for Super X, which also got bought out by CVS. But that was in Shelbyville. But when I was working there, I was just putting out stock and doing the out front stuff and all. And I thought, you know what, that'd be pretty cool to be a pharmacist, and then I can still go back into farming. That was my roots, that we've talked about.
Mr. Bell Buckle War Trace, Mr. Bedford County, maybe.
That's right. So, but luckily, when I came through also as a student at Reeves Powell Drugstore back in 1989, they offered me a job, right
Sweeping
out of school.
floors.
Right out of school.
Making milkshakes.
Taking care of Shane, right? Come here, son.
Right.
Get on.
So that was in 89, and then got married the next year, moved to Murfreesboro, and the rest is history. Been there ever since. But 5 years after being there in 94 is when I bought Ron Powell out, and then Shane bought his dad out, Mayor Reeves out, and we became partners in 94.
Haven't looked back.
Yep.
I was going to ask you, and we were talking about it a little bit earlier, and you talk about or don't talk about, because people are always curious. Okay, what happened for 3 or 4 years when you were out? Y'all got bought out. What year was it you got? Take us down that road.
I will.
Because people want to know.
Well, a lot of people don't know. They think it was just a drugstore, and it was a lot more to it than that. In 2012, we got into a part of pharmacy that we in the pharmacy world call specialty pharmacy. It's all the new biotech drugs and cancer drugs, hemophilia drugs, stuff you don't see traditionally through a normal drugstore. You get them through the mail, through the insurance pharmacies or whatnot. But we opened one in 2012.
Wow.
It grew so quick, so fast. 3 years later, we had it in Spring. We had one in Spring Hill, one in Columbus, Mississippi, and we were shipping to all 50 states. And it outgrew us. It outgrew little old Reeves Sain. It was just phenomenal growth, and we were so fortunate to take care of so many patients around. And we ended up selling it in 2015 to Fred's, the dollar discount Fred's. They had 700 stores in 13 states, and 350 of them had pharmacies in them, but they didn't have a specialty pharmacy.
For $65 million. I just had to add that. All right, go ahead. $65 million.
So we sold, but that part of the pharmacy was with the drugstore, and they wanted the drugstore too, and they wanted me to go to work for them. So I sold the rest of the company out to Shane that we were partners on, and he had 6 months to change the name from they bought the Reeves Sain name, so he had 6 months to change the name, so he changed it to 12 Stone. So he's still doing all the long-term care, the home infusion. He's got a great team over there doing that, and then. 3.5 years later, Fred's goes bankrupt, and it was just, I mean, devastating. And
yes.
And not only to us at Reeves Sain, but to a lot of the small communities in rural Mississippi, rural Tennessee, rural Alabama, where these people in these small communities were
depended on.
They depended on their Fred's, and their pharmacies there and so forth. So they closed all these when they went bankrupt. So it no longer exists. So the building, you kind of mentioned this a second ago, the building got tied up in bankruptcy court for almost 2 years.
Wow.
So I couldn't touch it. I was leasing the property, and then when I got it back out of the bankruptcy court, I sat on it for about a year trying to figure out what am I going to do. I'm going to lease the building, sell the building. Let's go back into business.
Yard sale.
That's right. So we decided to open back up, but it needed a refresh or remodel. So we remodeled it inside and out, gave it a whole new look inside and out, and decided to go back with the same name because that's what we were known for. And
Reeves Sain.
Yeah. So the Reeves aren't involved because Shane's doing his thing with 12 Stone and in the state Senate now, and so there's two partners coming in with me. Two great pharmacists, Taylor Black. He's got Black's Apothecary down the street. We're rolling Black's Apothecary back into Reeves Sain, and then Mark Moore is a pharmacist that's going to do all the compounding.
Not the attorney.
Yeah, pharmacist Mark Moore. So these guys, I think, are going to just do phenomenal, and hopefully it's going to be a good team. And we've got a good team there in place, and got the soda fountain with Tasty Table, and got the gift shop, as you mentioned earlier, with Right Impression with Susan Greer. And
they do a great job.
It's exciting. It's already looking great, so I can't wait for everybody to see it.
And Kathy Christensen Owenby.
Yes.
She's up there. Little trivia. We talked about this. Listeners, you can call in at 615-893-1450. I'm going to ask a question, but I'm not going to give you the answer. But if you do call in, I bet we can get a free milkshake at Reeves Sain tomorrow.
Do I get to play? Or am I
you
banned?
can play. No, you can play, but y'all know the answer. Just let's give it 10 minutes to see if anybody calls in. Okay, what was Reeves Sain before it was Reeves Sain? Okay, just remember that. What was Reeves Sain before it was Reeves Sain? Okay. There was a movie about it that Tom Hanks was in. I'm sorry.
What?
Okay, so I had a list of questions. Kelsey, if you have anything you want to add, jump in. I just started thinking. I was like, who came up with the recipe for the shake? I mean, it's just basic. your mom.
Everybody thinks it's some great secret or something, but it's called real ice cream, and it's purity ice cream.
It's purity. Is that the key?
Yeah, and then the real Hershey syrup. So just the real ingredients and not the thing you squirt out of the machine.
I love it.
So it's hand scooped and all that. So
And so your ice cream machine's not going to be down all the time when you go to get it.
Like Dairy Queen.
You just reach in the freezer and scoop it out.
That's awesome.
That's old school.
Yeah.
What are you going to have a post office?
Yeah, the post office. I'm glad you brought that up. The post office we've been working on for a while, but it's not going to open day one, but it's coming. It's just slow. It's just frustrating to know that we're going to open up and not have the post office. But that's the number 2 thing I hear is after the milkshakes is the post office coming back.
People used it. Yeah, I mean, big time.
Yeah.
Well, it's convenient to take care of many things at one time.
Right. Birthday cards or whatever. Small gifts.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to a party, a birthday or whatever, and your meds. You go get your meds done.
Yeah.
While you're waiting, you're shopping. I mean, it's pretty cool.
Well, and Kelsey mentioned the pharmacist coming out and so forth. That's the cool thing is, it's just the hometown service that I think people are loving and craving. And that's what's been so humbling for me is from the past to think about how much it meant to so many people. So we're definitely excited.
I know there's a lot of people who are too, all around.
I know I've missed that type of service for sure.
Back when it was open, it soon obviously went, we can do that. We can all do this, but starting tomorrow, I bet you I got a milkshake. There's probably sometimes I got 2 a day. I have an addiction to sugar. Everybody, if you know me, I can take a whole thing of sugar and down it and then go to sleep. It soothes me.
I remember you at both stores. When we had the store at Barfield, you frequented there a lot and got milkshakes there.
If I was going to Chevel, I was stopping at Reeve Sane to see this guy and then to get a shake. But that used to be a IGA.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've had Reeve Sane.
Yes.
Okay, good. Somebody's already calling in. Look. Do we have a caller? Okay. Caller, are you there? Hello? Caller? Call back. Whoever called in, call back at 615-893-1450. We're here with Rick Sane of Reeve Sane Drugstore. Is that still going drugstore?
That's it. Yeah.
But y'all have been like a piece of history. I mean, a part of Murfreesboro, the good part.
Another thing you make me think too, saying that, like, we get asked a lot about the pictures. Remember the old Central High School pictures?
That was my third question.
Oh, I'm jumping ahead of you here.
No, go ahead. People were like, where are they?
That's a question
they got
I
mad,
get all
man.
the time. And what was cool is we'd keep them on the wall, and then when people would have their reunions, so the classes would have their reunions, we'd take them off the wall and let them take them to their reunion and so forth. But they have gone back to the Central Magnet School. They're on display there, so everybody can
with Mr. Ash
and feel good that Mr. Ash has got them in good keeping and on display, and they can still get them for their reunions, and they're where they need to be.
I would probably agree with that, but it kind of makes they really should be at Reeve Sane.
Yeah.
I don't.
But we've got something else, a little surprise on the wall for everybody to see when they come in. So I'll throw that tease out there.
And they'll see it tomorrow because y'all tell us your hours.
We're open 8 to 5:30 Monday through Friday, and we're open on Saturday from 9 to 1 and closed on Sunday. So we'll be open at 8 in the morning.
Awesome. Well, we're going to take a break right quick and come back with more.
Drake's Barbershop began when local resident Robert Drake opened the business in 1972. Veteran Jason Rigney purchased the business in 2003, and this kept Drake's Barbershop a staple here in Murfreesboro. Jason has kept the legacy alive. Veterans receive a discount for haircuts. You can follow them on their Facebook page at Drake's Barbershop.
Old Stone Fort Golf Course is the place for you to get away for the day to play golf. Located right next to the beautiful Duck River and only 5 minutes from I-24. Whether you're a beginner or avid golfer, Old Stone Fort Golf Course is ideal for you. Golf carts are available and there is a golf shop. You can play 9 holes for $9 and kids 12 and under play for free. They are located at 1017 Country Club Lane in Manchester, Tennessee. You can call for a tee time at 931-954-0366. You can also follow Old Stone Fort Golf Course on Facebook.
Hey, it's Bill. Did you know I also sell for Parks Real Estate? Meredith Thomas and I make up the Thomas Wilson team. We have over 25 years of real estate experience and have helped nearly 1,000 families buy and sell real estate here in Murfreesboro, Rutherford County, and Middle Tennessee. Why not choose us to help you and your family with all your real estate needs? Give us a call at 615-406-5872 or 615-896-4040, or you can follow me at Mr. Murfreesboro on Facebook or Instagram. Curve them, crack them, or bend them, we can mend them. Come by Wheelworks, located 516 South Church Street. For a free estimate, we also sell performance and passenger tires, as well as aftermarket and factory wheels. We also install lift kits, and we've been sponsoring and serving this community for 15 years. Come see us at Wheelworks at 516 South Church Street, or give us a call at 615-849-3848.
Rhonda McQuarrie with Primus Mortgage has been in the mortgage business for over 30 years, a multi-year Ruthie Award-winning mortgage loan officer and a proud member of the MTSU 1989 graduating class, specializing in all kinds of mortgage products and taking pride in going the extra mile, personally taking great care with her customers. Call 615-419-9193. That's 615-419-9193, or check out our website, loansbyrhonda.com. Rhonda McQuarrie, Primus Mortgage, NMLS 628407.
Welcome back to the Mr. Murfreesboro Show here on WGNS 1450 AM and 101.9 FM Talk Radio. We're joined in the studio with none other than the one and only Rick Sane of Reeve Sane Drugstore, which is opening again tomorrow. We've been talking to Rick. Kelsey and I have been talking to Rick about Reeve Sane, where it started, where it's been. Now, where are we going?
Well, where we're going is just to get back to where we were. And that sounds kind of cliche, I guess, or goofy in a way, but we want to get back to what we talked about earlier, the service, and get back to people enjoying an atmosphere of coming in and dropping off their prescription and shopping in the gift shop and doing their post office needs and getting some lunch, getting a milkshake, and enjoying it again.
Old school.
Yeah.
Did you have a question, Kelsey?
Oh man, if you're gonna put me on the spot to ask my question, with you being involved so much in the industry, you're hearing so much about the opioid crisis, and do you have any plans, or do you have any thoughts about how to give back, or what needs to change? Do you have any idea, any thoughts on that?
Insurance companies? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, that's something that just we live with and deal with every day, is having to deal with all the opioids and the regulations and so forth. But in our world, we don't fill a prescription unless we've got a prescription for it. But then we kind of have to police the prescription sometimes to see if the patient needs it. Are they double dipping? Are they trying to go somewhere else? So several years back, we were really involved at the state level in getting an opioid database together. So when a patient is prescribed something, you can look online at the database and see, how often they've had it, who's prescribed it. So we have to do that by law now. Every time we fill a prescription, we can see exactly.
Oh, wow.
Where it's been filled and
Walgreens or wherever.
Exactly.
If they're trying to get it filled there,
Right.
they're trying to get it here. It's somebody who doesn't have the prescription.
Well, when you think about your insurance won't let you fill it too soon.
Yeah.
That's just insurance. But if somebody pays cash for it, there's no other stopping them.
Katie, bar the door.
Unless you go
Yeah.
on the database and see it. So that gives us an extra layer of knowing what's going on with the patient and so forth. So, but it is bad. Now all we hear is about the fentanyl coming across the border and all. But so that's taken up a lot, unfortunately, of what's going on out there in the opioid world. But still, there's been a lot of stuff come down the pike, and we've see a lot less of it than we did a few years ago. So that's a good thing too, as far as the prescription side of it goes, because we used to have to deal with it was just terrible to have to fill prescriptions and deny patients and not fill prescriptions and all that. that makes sense.
Oh yeah, but that's part of the good thing that comes from walking out, talking to your customers, and you know what they're on. You know.
He's an
getting
expert
to know
at
people.
that. You are. You're an expert. I mean, what are some services y'all do? Will you do flu shots? COVID? Y'all do COVID shots?
We do a lot of flu shots in the fall and leading up to the cough and cold season, flu season, and whatnot. Doing a ton of travel vaccines throughout the year. You know, it's amazing to me how many mission trips that folks go on in this area. So we give, depending on what country they go to, we can look up in the database there and see what shots they need depending on what country they're going to on their mission trip or whatnot. So we do a lot when kids are getting ready. College kids getting ready to go to college, got to have certain shots, catch up on them, and so we can do all those. So we do
tetanus. You do tetanus.
We built a new shot immunization room just to give shots in because that's how many we give and all. But you do a lot of tetanus, yeah.
Wow. I remember getting attacked by a St. Bernard when I was about 7 years old. It was Bill Walker, St. Bernard, and he was climbing up this barn loft, and I grabbed him, and that St. Bernard grabbed my arm and flipped me. And back when your kid used to wear a little T-shirt, and I had to go get a tetanus shot, I think. But they say that's very painful to have a tetanus shot.
Not like it used to be.
Not like it used to be.
They've gotten a lot better. You need to
I just wanted to share that little bit.
Get one every 10 years.
Every 10 years? Yeah. All right, what about a shingle shot? Should people get or should we listen to the doctor? But shingles are god-awful.
I'm a big believer in the shingles. I've seen so many patients come in the store over the years, in the pharmacy over the years with shingles in their eyes or, just
back of their neck.
Yeah, bad outbreaks and so forth. And when I turned 50, I immediately went and got my shots at our pharmacy actually, and to make sure. But a lot of people don't want to get shots or whatever. But if you've seen someone with a bad case of shingles, it's worth every.
It brings a tear to your eye.
Yes, it does.
Can you get it before 50 or?
Oh, you can.
You can. Okay,
but it's recommended 50 and over because it's most prevalent in 50 and over age.
Mm. And that's the one where if you had chicken pox before, then the potential for shingles is in your system.
You got it. That's it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You just mentioned like fentanyl. That used to be opioids. Now it is. Fentanyl's a big thing. I guess it's a quicker high or whatever, but they say like a little piece of sand could kill a horse or whatever. Fentanyl that's for cancer patients. Is that what it's for? Is it a form of heroin or?
It is. It came out originally to treat bad cases of cancer and so forth. And there were Duragesic patches was the brand name of it that was so popular back in the day and so forth when it came out. So it's a shame, but then you got the synthetic, and then you got all the drugs that you hear about on the news all the time that look like other drugs, and you don't know what you're getting. So it's just gotten crazy.
Don't know how they're mixing it, cutting it, doing this, doing that. It's an epidemic. Or I saw where a police officer was up in Kentucky, wasn't Tennessee, who OD'd while he was in his uniform.
I saw that.
Did you see that?
Yes.
And he died on patrol.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that tells you.
And there's been several cases of policemen, trying to save someone and get it just from trying to
save them with
CPR or whatever,
or doing that Narcan.
Yeah.
Y'all still Narcan?
We do. Yeah.
That's for somebody's OD. All the police officers carry them. Right. Somebody's OD, but then is there liability if you go and give them too much and then you end up, it's because of you or me or whatever. But some people
are always going to sue.
Yeah, exactly. We're sue heavy. Sue heavy. That's a new word. Sue heavy.
Sue happy.
Sue happy.
Sue happy.
But you asked about services too. We're going to go back to doing all the deliveries. That was huge.
That was
of course,
big.
You know what it's like to get across Murfreesboro these days, and also that'll hopefully help a lot of the shut-ins and folks that can't get out and drive as easy and get across town. So we'll have a delivery service like we always had.
Right.
So that'll be big. Immunizations, compounding. That's one thing that has always been big for us, and we can flavor medications that maybe a child doesn't like the taste of or whatever, or maybe there's a child that's coming out of Vanderbilt that needs a heart medication that's only made for an adult dose. We can break it down, put it in a pediatric dose. Do a lot of veterinary compounding, for dogs and cats and
that's cool.
So that's something that'll be a lot. Folks can come in, they can look through the window and see us mixing.
Y'all are mixing.
Yeah.
So compounding, just the broad definition, is changing it in some way. Yes. Okay, changing the dosage.
Adding to it's adding to, not taking away.
Taking powders, there's maybe it's a medication that it's not used much and it's not manufactured anymore, but there's a handful of patients that may need it, and you can get the bulk powder. And of course, we don't do any of it unless we've got a prescription through a physician. But there's just lots of needs like that we can help out patients with.
Yeah. What do you call that little thing? The bowl and the
that's the mortar and pestle.
Not pistol.
Pestle.
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 And that's where you do all your stuff. Well, just think about, and I'm a big history buff. Y'all know that. It's back in the day, man. Like Native Americans, they roots, and apothecary could be somebody in a tent who had a bunch of roots or whatever. Am I making sense?
Well, that was compounding.
Compounding.
That's what we're doing today, just like that. So.
Like, I'm thinking like during the Civil War when they didn't have painkillers, like a shot of whiskey and maybe some morphine, bite the tree bark and just saw their arms off,
Maybe you can get some of like the milkshake ingredients and some candy, and Bill and I can come in and practice compounding something.
We have a compounding
class.
Compounding class.
I don't know.
Well, that could be banking too. Your interest, is compounding.
Oh.
That's right. I'm pretty smart. I've got some more questions here. So, you excited?
I'm excited. I'm anxious. I'm stressed. I'm excited. All mixed together. So,
all together.
Yeah.
Hey, what was that older gentleman that did a lot of deliveries for you?
That was Mr. Ed Rigsby.
Is he still?
He's passed away.
He did.
Oh.
Yeah. Mary Ruth. Is she still?
Mary Ruth.
You going to bring her back?
I wished I could.
Did she move to Florida?
No, she still lives here in Murfreesboro.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, she's doing great.
Yeah, she was y'all have always had great employees.
Yes, we have, and we got another great crew this time.
That's where Elizabeth Allen used to work.
Elizabeth Allen started out there.
Started mixing milkshakes.
She did. Then she moved into helping in the gift shop and all that. Yeah.
And Lori's not. Is she gonna be a part of it?
Lori is
your sister.
A huge part of helping us put it all together, and color schemes and floors and walls and everything. And but that's she's got her own gig now doing
in Bell Buckle.
Yeah, in Bell Buckle doing it. Daffodilly Designs.
Daffodilly.
So is it going to look the same as it used to, somewhat, or
whole new look?
New look.
The layout's a lot the same. The post office still in the same spot, soda fountain, everything's still in the same, but it's just a fresh new look.
Cashier, same place.
We moved it just a little.
Will y'all still cash checks? Can I get $20 back if I have money in the account? Is that true? We all
do you have store credit?
Yeah. Hey, don't they? I'm not gonna say store credit.
Funny, we did a lot of store credit.
Yeah, you
back
did.
In the day. That's luckily the debit card is taking most of that away.
We were just talking about debit cards and Bitcoin and all that. If you go to a Titans game, you go to a concert, don't take cash. You have to have plastic.
I hardly carry cash
anymore. I think they're trying
to
do away with it.
Yeah. That's scary, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think you should still be able. I got a bag of change out in the trunk of my car. Do you know where I can go? Is it Coinstar? Can we? Yeah. Just don't tell anybody to do that, okay? Please don't tell anybody. Meredith, are you listening?
So you were basically, if I'm following the storyline right, you were basically gone through COVID. Like you were not actively in this industry. So what did that feel like? I mean, it had to have been like, whew, dodge that bullet. But also I'm sure you felt some, I want to get out there and help. I want to be on the front lines a little bit and, being the pharmacist coming out and giving the shots, in the cars. And
I wasn't involved as a pharmacist doing all that because I, was under non-compete and couldn't practice as a pharmacist since I sold. But to watch the pharmacy profession, patting ourselves on the back here, I guess, a little bit, to step up and give, pharmacists gave most of the shots nationwide through a CVS or Walgreens, but most of them were independent pharmacies in all these small rural towns, and it was phenomenal how they came together and got so many people immunized from it now. So
talk about your job description changing in a week.
Well, and it's opened up a lot of things legislatively because there's a shortage of physicians out there, so a lot of these rural communities can have a pharmacist work on their collaborative agreements with a physician and do more things now since COVID's come along. So it's
But what a good time not to be in business. When I'm not trying to be funny, but you're probably gave you time to refocus or do what we're talking about now. But COVID was a deal changer for everybody because none of us, it was a precedent. The bubonic plague of the 1500s killed 80 million. I don't know how many killed, but it killed a bunch of people. And then you had, when we were kids, because you and I are both, can I say, 45? No, 57.
57.
And we remember the swine flu. And I thought it was something where you get bit by a pig or something. I mean, what is the swine flu? What is the swine flu?
That was it's a form of flu that they named after the swine.
It came from a pig.
You've caught me on one there.
See?
I don't know how to describe it.
But that was the thing. You had to, the big thing now about COVID, do you get the vaccine? I'm not going to ask you if you got the vaccine. Did you get the vaccine?
I got
Good.
Got my 2 shots.
Well, I had to ask you.
But I got COVID too. So I got COVID just as the vaccine was coming out. So I hadn't been vaccinated yet. So I had the natural immunity, but I went ahead, 6 months later and got the 2 shots.
Since y'all have closed, my pharmacist has been, and he doesn't mind me saying it's Boulevard Terrace, Jamie Mason.
Yes, I love Jamie.
I love Jamie's. And always taking care of. He just doesn't have milkshakes. Jamie, are you listening?
He just doesn't have milkshakes.
Gonna have to get a milkshake machine. But no, he's always taking care of me. But y'all have always taken care of me too.
You mentioned not being in business during COVID because I thought about that a lot as I was
saved money, man.
Just thinking about having to deal with the dynamics of employees and customers and
liabilities.
The liabilities and how to take care of patients in just a crazy kind of way during those times.
I can't imagine how many questions were asked of pharmacists, and it used to be traditionally you would, folks trusted their pharmacists with the same questions they would ask their, and a lot of times not even go to the doctor, go to the pharmacist. What's the best way to treat this? I can't imagine how many questions were asked of pharmacists during COVID of people just saying, what am I supposed to do?
There were a lot of exhausted pharmacists, but not just pharmacists. You saw it on the news too, the doctors, the nurses, the hospitals.
Oh yeah, the whole
healthcare
industry.
It was quite something
It was wild, and we'll get on to something else. But
now we get to drink milkshakes.
But I knew like 8 people that died from COVID personally. I knew them. But hopefully, let me ask you this, and we'll move on. Do you think we'll have to have a COVID shot once a year?
I think we will.
When we were kids, you had to go get shots before you could go to school. I don't care if you're public, private. You had to get shots. I don't see what the big deal was. But some people you're not going to tell me what to do. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. I wish we could get out of the
politicalization.
There you go. Couldn't say it there. And feel good about it, because and not have to deal with all that part of it. And
Amen.
Know that it's a good shot and it's not hurting people and that sort of thing.
COVID didn't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, black or white.
Well, we
man or woman.
Claire Maxwell in here talking about something I didn't know about seatbelts. That this is the birth of the seatbelt coalition. I'm assuming. And
John
the law.
Bragg, Dr. Sanders.
But same story. Anytime anything's new and you're telling people how to take care of themselves, so many people hated the seatbelts and the laws that came out.
Shoot.
And now you look at it like
saves lives. Yeah, when we were kids, I'd be up in the back. We're headed to Miami, and I'm up there sleeping. There's a semi moving in.
Yeah, the back window was made to sleep in.
That's perfect. That's where you slept, and it kept you warm. The sun coming through the.
But if there was more than one of you, somebody'd have to take the hump in the floorboard.
You didn't want you didn't want to sleep there.
Oh man, see, I was a seatbelt police. I was a little nerd. I got my little Saved by the Belt badge, and I was the seatbelt police.
Or the Woody wagon. Claire Daniels' mom had a wagon, and the seat flipped back, and you would sit back and just watch the trucks get real close. And hey, you're doing this. Hey,
mom,
the truck's making funny faces at me. But let's say this. What about insurance companies? Is it somebody's got to get blamed for something? You know what I mean? You blame the doctors for not prescribing it, but I can see why there's a lot of addicts today, addiction, because if a doctor tells you to do this, well, the doctor told me, it's right here. But it's up to us as individuals not to cross that barrier. And I can say that because I'm in recovery. But the fact is, it's up to each individual But addiction, it is a disease, but the medicine is supposed to, if it's used the way it's intended, but I can't blame the pharmacist no one stuck a gun to my head and said, drink this, Bill.
But you can blame the insurance. You just mentioned that. That's one thing that the insurance is telling the physicians how to practice. They're telling the pharmacists what we can feel and can't feel when the physician writes the prescription. So it's a big headache is have to deal with the insurance. That's the biggest headache we've all got. If we could just practice medicine and practice healthcare and
be sensible,
to fool with the dealing with the insurance all the time and all, but they tell us what to do.
But
unfortunately,
people are going to get theirs. I mean, I have a great doctor, dentist, all that stuff. Good. It's all about relationships, and you get what you pay for too. You know what I mean? But the thing is, back in the day, people used to take care of each other. You know, I'm not trying to get religion in here, biblically or whatever, but somewhere it's the children, the widows, the poor people. Like we have a bad homeless thing going on down here, and I know some people don't want to. In some ways, Jesus was homeless. He didn't own a home. He just traveled everywhere. But my point being is the fact that we should do, I don't know, as a government, I don't know, public and private funding to help. Some people can get a job, some people can't. Some people are just plain crazy, all right? I'm just being honest.
We don't say crazy.
Why are you looking at me that way? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, Bill, we're lucky in this community to have so many places that they can go to for care.
Greenhouse Ministries.
Yeah, to get, in my world, being pharmacy, there's lots of groups that are help cover their prescription needs. If we can get them in there and get them plugged in. That's
Barnabas Vision, David Coggin.
Yeah. Community helpers. Those things.
And Recovery Court Foundation.
I have another question. So, being so heavily involved in Western medicine and pharmaceuticals, what are your thoughts on Eastern medicine and all of the alternative medicines, whether it be vitamins or acupuncture or, all that different stuff?
It's probably a stretch to say I'm a big believer in it, but I'm not a non-believer. But the thing is, we weren't taught that in traditional American medicine, to learn about those type things. Mm-hmm. So it's intriguing to me to know, because I think a lot of those things work. Mm-hmm. We just don't use them. We don't put them into practice, and then we call them hocus pocus or whatever.
Witches.
Because one thing, Kelsey, that I'm proud that we do is we talked about compounding, is we'll do a lot of bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. We call it BHRT, bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. And we take the progesterone powders, the estrogen powders, testosterone powders, working with a physician that has seen the patient.
Wow.
Not just women, but men as well, and work with them, and then mix up
potion.
Exactly what the patient needs. Instead of going on a synthetic hormone like a Premarin or something like that, we can put it in a natural bioidentical. So we
cool.
do kind of a lot of that through our compounding and all. So, but it's unfortunate that we're not taught more of that in medicine and pharmacy and that sort of thing.
And the flip side too, that Eastern cultures a lot of time aren't taught some of the Western medicine that works as well. We just gotta all work together.
That's right. If it works, let me ask, what do you take for a headache?
I'm a big Advil.
Well, hammer? No, I'm just
kidding.
Advil,
but sometimes Tylenol. It's just, I think it's whatever works for you. It's some people better on ibuprofens, or some people better on acetaminophen.
Antacid. If you have a little stomach reflux, what do you take for that? Pepsid?
Nexium or Pepsid.
Nexium.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pepsid AC.
Just doing the checks here.
Probably Pepsid AC is my go-to for that.
Right.
Oh, I have such a strange question that I got into it with the other day, and I was like, they have outlawed that. Okay, now when I was a little girl, and I think my granddaddy just watched over us to make sure he couldn't get this out, because he wanted to get it out so bad. Methylate.
Oh, yeah.
What is that?
It was this hideous, bright orangey, looked like a
limerick
horror
or
movie
turmeric
blood.
or turmeric.
And it was also called mercurochrome too, I think. Okay, and it smelled and it burned like the gates of Hades.
Really? But what did you use it for?
Well, it was for cuts and scrapes.
Burns?
Yeah. But Kelsey, I used it a lot too as a kid, and I don't know if they took it off the market because anything was wrong with it, or if it just other things took their place, and it just wasn't a big seller anymore.
Felt like it was like mercury in it or something. That was a highlight. I can't remember.
I thought it was great. That was a great product. And there's lots of drugs like that over the years. There was a decongestant that was my go-to for years called phenylpropanolamine, but there was a subset of patients that had heart trouble with it, and they took it off the market and all. It was a great drug at treating, congestion and that sort of thing.
But they still sell it?
No.
No, because, okay.
Because the heart.
What about black salve? I remember my mother had some
Black
salve and Vicks. They would put it all over, you're just like, oh, I can see it. No.
Vicks is still a big seller, but I hadn't seen black salve in years.
But you've heard of it?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't remember what all was in it, but yeah, I remember.
See, if I could just get my hands on one little bottle of that methylate, my kids would be tougher.
Hey, it's called eBay,
people.
Amazon. I mean, I'm sure you can find it.
All right. Do you remember a product called Watkins salve?
Yes.
My grandmother,
I've seen that.
any kind of cut or whatever, there was Watkins salve. I don't know if it was anything more than Vaseline, colored Vaseline, but
hydrogen
we thought
peroxide.
Yeah.
You can actually mouthwash that.
I'm seeing a lot of people using hydrogen peroxide for lots of, in their ears, and I don't know if you can endorse that.
Well,
or
there's
not,
a
but-
derivative of it called carbamide peroxide. That's what's in a lot of the tooth whiteners and all. It's carbamide peroxide.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
I remember as a kid we used to put baking soda on our teeth a lot, and now you've got all the baking soda toothpaste.
You watch TV 10:30 at night right after the news. This has happened the last 10 years. These they're pharmaceutical companies come, hey, if you take this, it's going to save you. And at the end, if you do this, it's going to cause diarrhea. It may cause death. No, I'm serious. Let's make a commitment right now.
Makes fun of those commercials.
Tonight, you go home, I don't know what time y'all go to bed, but watch TV. There's going to be a pharmaceutical. It's usually late at night. You're dozing off. And it's, maybe you have upset stomach. You take this.
Most of them are asleep late at night because they know that you'll be watching if you're not sleeping.
But have you not noticed that? I guess everybody has. Or maybe I just watch a lot of TV.
Yeah. My 10-year-old son confronted me about that not too long ago. He goes, have you ever noticed that
there's a drug for everything?
There's like medicine, it's like for, like, if your thumb hurts, take this. But just know, it might cause you to die. I'm like,
that's called
it's
a lot.
true.
It's to cover the bases.
I've gotten asked about that a lot as a pharmacist over the years about all the side effects. They'll list those, and of course they're having to cover themselves legally. But if you listed everything that aspirin does to you, you wouldn't want to take aspirin. So it's
blood thinner.
Yeah, it's just covering themselves legally, but they have to do it.
Well, now when I research things, I like how they do like a small subset of them. These are the extremely rare side effects. These are probably what you're going to get. I like that. Makes it easier.
What are some things that happen at the store? I don't know. If you had to call an ambulance, somebody pass out. You've had fist fight. What have we had there at Reeves Saint? I'm just trying to be real here, Rick.
It's funny you bring that
Your
up.
craziest day.
I want to see what's crazy.
We reminisce a lot about all the things that have happened over the years.
Leave the names out of it. It's okay. You got any good ones about Shane? No, go ahead.
Oh, there's some I can't tell because they're just
I know.
out there. And
I've got some too. All right.
But they still tease me about a patient that had an upset stomach that used our restroom one time, and that nobody wanted to clean it up, and so that was my job.
Did you make Liv Palmer go? No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
And there was, bless her heart, there was one time that a lady came in the pharmacy to get a prescription, and she got a nosebleed while she was there. And this lady literally bled from one end of that building to the
front door, back door.
I'm going and getting my gloves on and making sure I'm not touching the blood and cleaning up. But it was from one end. It was all in the bathroom, over the sink.
Did she live?
Yeah. She just got a bad nosebleed while she was there and all. And she was probably on blood thinners or something.
Right. Coumadin?
Yeah,
Coumadin?
Could have been.
Oh.
But I'm trying to think. Those are pretty gory. I'm trying to think of something that's funny. But there's a lot. Jason Green could tell you a lot.
Jason, where is Jason Green?
Jason is chief pharmacist at the VA here in Murfreesboro now.
Right down the road.
Doing a phenomenal job.
He's a good guy.
Anywhere. I wished he would come back to work for us.
What about Buckner and Norris? Are they still around?
Kevin Norris passed away.
No, he did not.
Yes, he did.
No.
About a year ago. He sure did.
What happened?
But Craig Butler's out there with Chad Mills at Mills Pharmacy now. So
I like Craig.
Yeah.
But Kevin, dude, no way. Yeah. He had... Wow.
It's
I hate
very
that.
unfortunate, but he's passed away.
Wow.
Great guy.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to take another break, and then we will have a little bit more with Mr. Sane.
Drake's Barbershop began when local resident Robert Drake opened the business in 1972. Veteran Jason Rigney purchased the business in 2003, and this kept Drake's Barbershop a staple here in Murfreesboro. Jason has kept the legacy alive. Veterans receive a discount for haircuts. You can follow them on their Facebook page at Drake's Barbershop.
Old Stone Fort Golf Course is the place for you to get away for the day to play golf. Located right next to the beautiful Duck River and only 5 minutes from I-24. Whether you're a beginner or avid golfer, Old Stone Fort Golf Course is ideal for you. Golf carts are available and there is a golf shop. You can play 9 holes for $9 and kids 12 and under play for free. They are located at 1017 Country Club Lane in Manchester, Tennessee. You can call for a tee time at 931-954-0366. You can also follow Old Stone Fort Golf Course on Facebook.
Hey, it's Bill. Did you know I also sell for Parts Real Estate? Meredith Thomas and I make up the Thomas Wilson team. We have over 25 years of real estate experience and have helped nearly 1,000 families buy and sell real estate here in Murfreesboro, Rutherford County, and Middle Tennessee. Why not choose us to help you and your family with all your real estate needs? Give us a call at 615-406-5872 or 615-896-4040, or you can follow me at Mr. Murfreesboro on Facebook or Instagram. Curve them, crack them, or bend them. We can mend them. Come by Wheelworks, located 516 South Church Street. For a free estimate, we also sell performance and passenger tires, as well as aftermarket and factory wheels. We also install lift kits, and we've been sponsoring and serving this community for 15 years. Come see us at Wheelworks at 516 South Church Street, or give us a call at 615-849-3848.
Rhonda McQuarrie with Primus Mortgage has been in the mortgage business for over 30 years, a multi-year Ruthie Award-winning mortgage loan officer and a proud member of the MTSU 1989 graduating class, specializing in all kinds of mortgage products and taking pride in going the extra mile, personally taking great care with her customers. Call 615-419-9193. That's 615-419-9193, or check out her website, loansbyrhonda.com. Rhonda McQuarrie, Primus Mortgage, NMLS 628407.
Welcome back. I've got my co-host, Mr. Murfreesboro, here.
Hey, what's happening? We're having fun up
No,
here.
he's the host. I'm the co-host. I know.
You're the co-host with the most.
Co-host with the most host.
So we got about 10. What time is it? We got about 10 minutes or so. Look, we're on TV now. You'll be able to play this back. I'll text you the replay.
I'm not sure I want to see myself.
I know we had some basketball going on. Do you trying to make the games? Try to be a part of the community, Rick? Do you do that?
Well, since COVID, I've become a hermit.
Have you really? A lot of people have.
Yeah.
Either people.
I'm doing church online. I feel
Are you?
terrible. I'm not even getting back into church. We're doing it.
Well, the church are the people. Okay, the building's not really most important. That's what I think. I mean,
my pastor wants me back out there, though. I do know that.
He
so I gotta
does?
get back out there. Yep.
Is it Allen Jackson?
No.
You go to an old country church,
I
don't
go
you?
to
Fairfield Church.
Fellowship Methodist out right out
Oh,
Passport Outreach.
I know. Yeah, good people.
Trey Carey out there.
Yeah. Man, there's something I was going to tell you. Oh, Coach Rick Insel's going to be on March 26th. If they're not in the Final Four or whatever, let's hope he's not. Let's hope they're moving on up. The Lady Raiders.
I just can't get into basketball. I try so hard. I mean, I don't hate it, but I don't watch it. I don't want to watch it.
What about March Madness? We got March Madness coming up. That's the best.
You've
time.
got to bet on it too, right?
That's right. You got
It's
to do your
still
bracket.
dribble, shoot. Dribble, shoot.
Dunk.
Dribble.
Foul.
He made it. Dribble. He didn't make it. I mean, it's just so like ping pong kind of.
Are you more college football?
I love college football.
Yeah.
I like
What about
pro
hockey?
Football.
Do you like
I love baseball, and I like hockey. Hockey is fast, but it's different. It's not.
But you go to a hockey to see them fight, right? You go to a car race to watch them crash. You go to a boxing match, somebody get knocked out. The bloodiest thing I ever went to was a bullfight down in Cancun, Mexico. We got enough time. We're supposed to be talking about racing. Well, they bring Ricky Scroggins and I had gone down there. We'd fly down there and some other friends, and they bring this bull in. I mean, it's snorting. I mean, it's mad. They bring out these picadors on horses, and they just pick that bull until blood's shooting about 6 feet. It's just like every time his heart beats. And then, long story short, the matador either kills the bull or the bull kills him, and they take that bull and they divide it up, or what do you call it when you fillet a deer?
Butcher it.
There's a word for it I'm looking for, but they butcher it and put it on
field dress it when you do a
they
deer.
field dress. They cut the tail off, they cut the tongue, and then the ear, and they hold it up like this, and they put it on these pallets, and they had these mules pull all this meat to the orphanage, and they have fresh. The bull's not wasted, but they I don't know why I'm telling y'all that. But
You took it back upbeat though. I like the orphans at the end.
The children got to eat fresh, fillets.
Did you pay to go see this?
I don't think we paid. It was like a big coliseum that probably sat 3,000 people, and the seats. It was like something you see in Rome. The concrete. It was.
Did Meredith volunteer you as the matador?
I did not know Meredith then. This is when I was in my 20s or 30s. I was a very young person. But, man, I'm just excited. I'm sorry about the bullfight, y'all. I'm sure I'm going to have Pete out there throwing paint on my car. I'm excited about y'all being open, man, and we'll get to see you more. And don't have to worry about seeing Shane. We have to go to Nashville to see Shane.
Got to go to the Senate to see
Got to
Shane.
go to kind of say the Hill.
That's right. We are excited. It's been very humbling to see social media blow up, and oh my gosh, every time we put something on the marquee, all our phones light up with texts and social media lights up. So
that's awesome.
It's been humbling. It really has, to know that the community wants something like Reeves Same back. So
You've been missed.
How difficult is it for some of us in the community to transfer prescriptions if we want to start going?
Good question.
Really easy now, and all. It's so easy to get input into the computer system and all, and it just takes time to transfer, the prescriptions over. And one thing that we do, Bill asked about services earlier, is we try to synchronize the medications. Nobody wants to go back 5 trips a month to get 5 different prescriptions, so we work to try to sync them up where you can get them in one trip.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So it helps patients out, helps us for deliveries, because a lot of the older population, that needs them delivered, make one trip out.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause we do the free delivery and all. So
that's amazing.
We work hard at that too.
Y'all honor the discount cards like Good R? What's the best one? You need to tell them Good RX.
No. I'm glad you brought that up. We have our own
A
discount
Reef
card
Same?
that competes with Good RX.
Oh.
Good RX and those other cards, in the pharmacy world, we shy away from them. I mean, we use them because it helps patients out with pricing, but we shy away because they sell your data. I mean, everywhere. So we've got one that's more user friendly. Get you the same discounts if folks.
Is it an app? Can you get an app for it?
Get an app.
Okay.
You can look at the pricing ahead of time and get the same type discounts and all.
It's important.
We got our own little Reeves Same card and all.
Not everybody's got insurance because it's so expensive.
Well, or even if you do have insurance, a lot of people have high deductibles. So
that still helps.
It may be $50 on your high deductible for that prescription, but maybe through the discount card it's $40 or $30.
Yeah,
or $5.
it saves you money.
Yeah.
In the long run, it saves you money.
It saves you enough change to go get you a milkshake.
That's right. Are y'all going to be any freebies this week? I have to ask. I mean, I'm all about saving money.
Well, I don't know if
A
Laura
raffle?
Table's doing that or not, but they're doing some unique things on social media, so maybe so.
Cool. And hopefully we'll have the Mr. Murfreesboro brand in there. I mean, stickers
That
and
would
stuff.
be cool.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Man, I'm excited. Kelsey, we'll have to go down there, grab some milkshakes, and
You can come for Lady K Day. Oh,
Lady-
did you not get a Mr. Murfreesboro?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Hey, thank you, Rick. Thanks,
Thank
brother.
you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Reeves Sane
Thank
Drugstore.
you.
Go out and do something nice for somebody. God bless you.
At Johns Hopkins, I'm Elizabeth Tracy. Misdiagnoses in the emergency department aren't common, but they do happen more often than we'd like. A recent federal study led by David Newman-Toker at Johns Hopkins has found. Newman-Toker says there are things you can do to help your physician in the ED.
Here, it's something very specific that you need to ask your physician when you're being assessed. The question is, what's the worst thing it could be, and why isn't it that thing? What you're looking for is an answer to that question that sounds like somebody's really thought about it and they understand it. What you really want is somebody to say, look, I know you have this headache. It's not a brain aneurysm for the following 3 reasons. Brain aneurysms start suddenly. Your headache began gradually. Brain